another episode of Doodling Through Education. For my CC students, this is Cycle 1, Week 17, Science. For everyone else, that just means that we are going to be talking about the different parts of a volcano. Before we get started, make sure you head on over to doodlingthrougheducation.com. There's a link in the description. I have created workbooks with worksheets that go along with each of these videos. There are 4 worksheets per week per subject, and I've divided them into quarterly bundles if that helps you to purchase them that way. Without further ado, let's start doodling. So if you remember, last week we talked about the different kinds of a volcano. And so we're going to continue on this pattern and talk about the different parts of a volcano more in depth. First, let's talk about magma. Magma is molten or hot liquefied rock that is located deep below the Earth's surface. It is formed when temperatures within the Earth's crust or mantle are hot enough and when the pressure is decreased enough that magma can form. Hot magma can rise upward and collect in magma chambers. It's important to note that magma is that melted rock that is under the ground. It is not any type of molten lava that is located above the ground. It is all underneath the ground. Now, there are different types of magma, and one is called felsic magma. Felsic magma is quite thick, and this has a lot of a mineral called silica. This type of magma is responsible for making light-colored rocks. Another type is called mafic magma. This magma is quite runny, and so it has less silica. It usually makes dark-colored rocks. There is a third type that is called intermediate magma, and it has a little bit of characteristics from both of the other types. Now, magma can become solid, and the way that this is done is usually by a slow cooling that happens far below the surface. This makes plutonic rocks such as granite. Next up, let's talk about the vent. A volcanic vent is a place on the Earth's surface where lava flows and rocks and gases can escape from. Vents are the opening in the Earth's crust from which the magma and the volcanic gases escape onto the ground or even up into the atmosphere. Now, a vent can consist of just a singular circular shaped structure, or it could be a long fissure or fracture in the ground, or it can even be a tiny crack. But this is the part where magma comes out onto the surface. Now, what is magma when it comes to the surface? Well, that brings us to our next part, and that is lava. Lava is hot, liquefied rock that flows from a volcano or other opening to the surface of the Earth. So, when it is underneath the ground, it is called magma, and when it gets to be above the surface of the Earth, that is when its term is changed to lava. We talked in a previous video about igneous rock, and we're going to briefly touch on it again, because igneous rock is formed when lava reaches the surface of the Earth, cools, and hardens. It is important to note that fresh lava is very, very hot. It can reach temperatures as high as 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, some lavas are more liquidy and they can flow downhill at almost 35 miles per hour, whereas other types of lava are thicker and can move as slow as only a few inches per day. This speed of the flow of lava really depends on many different things, but typically it boils down to depending on the temperature of the lava and what the lava is made of. Now, like I said, with magma, lava does have a high percentage of silica in it. Lava also contains gas and rock inside of it, and so sometimes the gases are released slowly or even trapped as bubbles when the lava hardens. Now, if there are many tiny and closely packed bubbles all together, and then the lava cools and hardens, this can create a type of stone called a pumice stone. Many islands have been formed by underwater lava flows. And this is done because the lava will bubble up to the surface and then will accumulate higher and higher until the volcano rises above the sea level. The Hawaiian Islands are an example of islands forming from lava flows. Now let's move on and talk about the crater. A volcanic crater is typically a bowl or funnel-shaped depression that lies directly above the vent from which the volcanic material is ejected. So these craters are typically found at the summit of a volcano, and they are usually a circular basin or bowl type structure. And if the volcano is active, then there is a vent inside it. Craters can differ from volcano to volcano. They can be huge and sometimes deep, or not very big and a little bit more shallow. And last, let's talk about the gases that volcanoes produce. Volcanoes produce a variety of different gases that can include water vapor, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, carbon monoxide, hydrogen chloride, and hydrogen fluoride. Now, when a volcano produces a large amount of gas, the most common gas that it produces are the water vapor, carbon dioxide, and sulfur dioxide. And this actually makes up 99% of the gas molecules that are put out into the atmosphere during an eruption. The remaining 1% is made up of these trace amounts of the other gases I have listed here. These gases can leave the volcano in such a violent fashion during some of these eruptions that these gases can be pushed up into the Earth's stratosphere. And that's all we have for today. So be sure to grab your 4 worksheets from your science workbook and go through them with the information provided in this video to better understand the different parts of a volcano and to expand your learning on this subject. And on that note, remember to be kind, follow God's will, and take care. Bye.